In 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to Janky AF and my janky life. All right, well, great one here today. So I have this vacuum. It's not an inexpensive vacuum. It's a fine German brand, and it has this little grate floor attachment. It works wonderfully. The other day I'm vacuuming, and maybe you can see this. There's a little dial, like a little roller wheel. Of course, the other one popped off, and the little wheel came out here, but there's a little silver pin that holds it in, and of course you're going about trying to be quick and everything, and before you know it, you vacuumed up that little silver part. So I took out the bag, which we have here, and the other thing is now it's Saturday, we're cleaning the house and doing all that. We use this vacuum for the house sometimes too, just because it's such a nice vacuum, and we have no more vacuum bags. Now these are quite expensive, and also I don't want to go into town right now and drive all the way in, drive all the way back, buy the bags, try to save a little bit of money, and we also have to try to fish this silver thing out. So basically what we're doing today is rooting through the garbage. So I thought I'd bring you along with me for what might be possibly the boringest video ever to be put on YouTube, but that's just how it's going to be. Oh, I suppose I could go into, some allegory about, being thrifty and all that. As you can see, the other great thing about this is there's probably some lead paint in here. Now, oh, there's a penny. Well, we're making money on the adventure, so that's good. I guess we'll just sort of spread it out here. I was talking to because I'm not the only one. I have it on good authority that I'm not the only one who recycles these bags, because they are so expensive and they're pretty durable and tough too. Now, unfortunately, I do have one more, but after a while, the cardboard seal here will separate from the rest of the bag. I just wish there was, so my buddy was talking about trying to get someone to sew in a zipper to one of these, then you could just zip it open and dump it out, and that would be incredibly useful, because the bottleneck that gets created here is really unfortunate. What else do we have? We're finding some treasures in here. We have Redbird handcrafted candy. Amazing what gets sucked up into the vacuum, isn't it? I think my strategy should just be to get as much out as I can, and then once it's out, we can sort of separate it on this table, but you really have to get in there and sort of help it along the way. If I had like a large stick, that would be helpful. There's some hardware, a screw coming out. That's probably, I feel like I know what that's to, but I can't place it right now. So it's kind of fun because it's kind of like a little bit of a archaeological dig too. Once you get into it, get your hands dirty a little bit. It's kind of an interesting exercise, and also you realize just how much, when you're vacuuming. Now, obviously, this wasn't just cleaning the house. This was a little bit of a job site, but oh, there's a receipt. That's fun. What is this from? Looks like a banking statement. We don't really want to look at that right now. That's why we're rooting through the garbage. Oh, there's an anchor. That could be useful. This is more entertaining than I thought. You don't realize how much stuff gets swept up. But even if you're just vacuuming around the house, we're doing like a major house clean right now. I don't know where all these red cardinal candies are coming from. Just dusting and surface cleaning and doing like a real soup to nuts clean out. It's amazing what filth you're living in actually when you don't clean the house for a while. And it's just something about, I don't know, the nature of humanity. I think about this a lot. We're always like, it's just constant maintenance, I mean, it makes sense if you look at it like a different species. You're just trying to survive the whole time. But I think humans, we get this expectation that life is to be enjoyed. And I think that's true. Wow, a lot of pet hair coming out here now. But I think Norm Macdonald's had some line in an interview one time where he said most of life is just looking for, finding, and eating food. And it's true. Like, at the end of the day, we're just a species trying to survive, and most of us in at least the blue collar world are, you gotta, especially self-employment, you gotta work really hard just to keep things at bay. Now, the flip side of that coin is that compared to probably the vast majority of people in the world, we have it so good. We took the dogs for a walk this morning down to a little babbling brook and sat on the stones. I skipped some rocks into the trickling stream, and the dog likes to chase those. So, you know, in some ways you have nothing to complain about at all. And otherwise, you realize just how hard you work for everything you've got. And it's, oh, now we've just tore it. As I'm saying that. I did have a backup plan, which was to take some hot glue and glue this cardboard seal back onto the cloth, which I guess now I'll do that with both of them since I have, oh, there's a little bead from my beaded seats. Since I have two of them, I might as well, since I got the station out, empty out 2 bags, then I got 2 of them instead of 1. And we'll just have to run like a hot glue experiment and see how that goes. Bringing me back to the present from my philosophical musings. Anywho, so, you know, try to be positive and think about all the really amazing things that you have in your life, and family and health and friends and all that. But, you know, you get those days where, like, every little thing, sometimes just to complete the simplest task, it seems like you have to move a mountain. I just wanted to record this video, and you know, I had to set up this table, and this piece of wood here had 2 little ends sticking out of it, so I had to find a handsaw, cut that, and of course, being a Janky, nothing's ever guaranteed to be where you think it's going to be. And then my buddy who has the same vacuum, I had one of his attachments and he had one of mine, which happens often on the job site when 3 people have the same vacuum. So I had to run down, luckily he lives on this road, but I had to run down the road, took the Jetta for a nice drive, and pick up that, drop his fuzzy attachment off, come back here, make sure my phone of, like, you know, of course, always has like no storage left on it. So make sure my phone had enough storage on it, find my recording device, and then as soon as I went to turn it on, I realized the SD card wasn't in there. So I had to go find the rest of my computer stuff, find the adapter that I connect to the computer with the SD card in it. And then several other just sort of little, you know, walk through the gate, walk back through the gate, walk through the door. You just never stop like moving and walking around and expending energy. And it's just like, maybe it's just, I think it might be like a byproduct of looking at our phones all the time, because we have this like, you're in this like virtual world where it's so passive, you don't have to do anything, and your imagination sort of just takes over, for better or worse. But then when you get back into reality and you realize that like everything you do, every single little task, there might be 50 or 60 tasks associated with just achieving one, you know, modest goal, and you have to do all those tasks. And then as soon as you think you're set up, you realize there's one more task to do. Something didn't work right. I recorded I'm trying to record another Year of the Aerostar. I recorded it 3 times, and the 3rd time, I recorded it twice. The first time, I forgot to screen capture my computer because it had been a while. Second time, set everything up right, and then my phone, even though it said it had memory, stopped recording like 5 seconds in. And I think I started to record it a 3rd time and then ran out of time and had something to do. So, you know, it's just like this basic inefficiency of life can be kind of like, I don't know why, but for some reason it's just like so agonizing sometimes when you're just like sort of always in a state of feeling like you're behind, or, you know, haven't had enough sleep, or just want to like sort of, I mean, I'm not an idle person. I don't like this. I get very stir crazy if I just sit around, but then all other times at the same time, well, I haven't found the silver pin yet, which is a little concerning. You just get so mentally tired of these little rote tasks again and again, climbing up, climbing down. It's very Sisyphean, and you feel like you're just pushing a rock up the hill just to have the rock roll down the hill again. And it's tough. It's tough sometimes, you know, like first world problems and all that. But, you know, I think the human brain is, at the end of the day, just the human brain. It's a very, very amazing, but very flawed and in some ways limited, susceptible to, you know, forming ruts and grooves that aren't really healthy. And boy, I have not seen this pin come out yet, which would just be so hilarious if we did this whole thing and broke the vacuum bag and didn't get the pin out of it at the end of the day. Take a peek down in here. Huh. It's very interesting. Maybe it came out in a big clump. I could have swore I vacuumed it right up. I remember doing it. I couldn't stop myself from vacuuming it as I was doing it. One of those things where you see it happen in slow motion. Well, this may be I guess that's probably why we record videos and stuff too, because it feels like, oh well, at least I'm getting a video out of it. Maybe that my the futile nature of my my efforts will at least, you know, be worth it to somebody, or, you know, someone will get some value out of it, or at least I'll get the little mental cookie of thinking that I'm getting some value out of it. I don't find this thing in here. It's pat it down here, the old police pat down. Huh. You know, the reality is too, I probably could have found just some little piece of silver to stick in there, but then you're getting into like sort of fabricating and oh boy. I should probably get a magnet, search through this. Geez, all this little stuff that you don't realize. Just humans and garbage. So I should probably get like a sifter too. If I put this in like a sifter, try to sift out the precious metals, like panning for gold. Boy, this would end on such a high note if I could actually find it. Definitely want to wash my hands after this. I find though a lot of time if you go and look back at things, you realize that your pursuits weren't really in vain, and that you accomplish more than you think you do. Boy, I can't believe it if it's not in here. I swore I sucked it right up in here. A tiny little silver pin we're looking for. Well, now you're just watching me in silence. I didn't see that before, so maybe smaller things can exist in here. That was a pretty big object to not have seen it before. Maybe we'll be all right. I've been sort of all over the place lately, and it's difficult because you try to catch momentum in one direction. I got that problem. There's all these videos on YouTube about it, but I got this problem where I have too many interests, and so I'm perpetually spread thin. And on top of that, you know, I have like I'm self-employed, which is like, you know, a hell of a day job. Now, in theory, the self-employment, the company is all, you know, my creative endeavors and my, well, I guess you would say slightly less creative endeavors are all merged into one entity. Oh, look at that. We got a nice little bit there. I didn't see that before. Maybe I could even use that bit as a pin. Wouldn't that be funny? If we don't actually find the pin itself. But, you know, you start slowly creeping up there in years and say to yourself, oh boy, like, is this ever really going to happen, or is this kind of it? And I don't know, I don't think everyone feels that way. I think that some people, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say. Some people, I think, they seem, at least on the surface, very contented with just day-to-day life, you know, but then you hear all this rhetoric, but who knows if that rhetoric's really just a sales tactic, you know, like quit your 9 to 5 and be free, and like, but it's like usually it's like, well, be free by, you know, doing drop shipping on Amazon, like that's gonna like revolutionize your life. I think people like to do something with a purpose, but I don't know. Maybe I have a slightly more active brain. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not giving myself some sort of superlative. I'm just like, you know, from like a neuro standpoint, I wonder if my, you know, there's something going on, because I cannot, my just brain is on fire all the time. And it's great, but sometimes it can feel like a little bit of a challenge to feel like you're not, when you're just doing your day-to-day stuff, fulfilling obligations for other people, you get this like resentment, I guess. It's not like really directed toward one person. You just feel like things are kind of slipping away, and time is limited, and you know, things don't change, you're going to be on this path, and the more time that goes by, like the harder it is to sort of get on that path, whatever it is. I mean, I think I am on the path, but where it's leading to, you don't really know, and that's the hard part. Well, this is gonna, it seems like this is gonna be a total bust. I mean, I got a vacuum bag out of it, but now I wonder if I could staple it. I bet I could take this and put some staples in it like that. That would probably work, because as long as it's loosely holding it on there, not too much stuff should get past the sucker mechanism when it, you know, goes by. So now it looks like, I guess we're going to be doing some like custom fabrication. Now you could also say like, well, the pin probably fell out in the first place because it was too small or something. And truth be told, the vacuum works pretty good even without that second pin. But, you know, I really don't want to buy one. I don't even know if you can buy that part. So here we are. Maybe I'll put it on a little stick and see if that works. Some janky custom fabrication here. Ramrod in there. Of course, then that wheel will probably fall off again, and then, well, it spins, but I don't think it's gonna. Oh, look at that! It actually is. Oh, there it goes. Anyways, that's where we're at here in Janky AF. We, you know, I think we accomplished something. We got this bag, and well, we'll try to piece that together. Get another real garbage bag and throw all this in the garbage, and maybe do one through last little sort through. And if anything comes up, I will update you. I'll do a postscript. Oh, look at that! Can't make this stuff up. And you know what's funny too is the rush you get. You know, like I feel like I feel like I'm either, you know, totally down in the dumps and just like despondent, or I'm in like some sort of spiritual, you know, bliss, nirvana, where I'm just like exalted state, and there's very little in between. And even that would be okay, but it seems like the ratio of, and you know, many people have said this, but the ratio of those two moods, you have to work real hard just to squeeze a little water out of that rock. But look, we did it. And it's like, the funny thing is, like the pacing and flow of timing of that whole experience was like, we ran the emotional gamut, didn't we? And then at the end, we still got somewhere. And we found the little metal piece, and now, like, you know, you get that ray of sunshine. You're like, all right, well, it won't be so bad to put this thing back together. We'll figure it out. We'll find a way, and you know, things aren't so bad. So I won't bore you with, you know, cleaning the rest of this up, but that was that was a pretty. I think it's like a really meaningless, you know, video. Like, watch a person sort through a dirty old, you know, vacuum garbage bag for 10 minutes. And yet, and I'm not giving myself any credit here, but if you watch it, you realize there's so much depth and meaning in just such a simple pursuit. You know, they say, like, I'm sure this isn't Bob Dylan didn't come up with this, but I've heard him say it, something like, I find the divine in the ordinary. And if there's ever a lesson, I think that's it. We're so often chasing these far off imaginary, whether it be on our phones or, you know, in our internal expectations within our minds thing. And I think it's good to pursue something that seems out of reach and far away, but I think you also really need to ground yourself in the moment And but a lot of times those moments can be found right where you are. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But Beef Janky got his vacuum working again, so we're gonna go clean the house. This has been my Janky life here on Janky AF. As I mentioned in this video, I'm way behind. I want to do more Year of the Aerostar episodes because we are, in theory, shopping for an Aerostar right now. A million comments to respond to, and Janky, do thank you to everyone for writing those comments. It does help push the Janky along, and I know parasocial relationships are weird, but you know, just the fact that there's just like a little ping of like humanity on the backside of this thing is cool. So you know me, and you don't really know me, and I don't really know you, but you know, it's like having a pleasant conversation in the checkout line of the gas station or whatever with some stranger. Like, you just get that little human connection, and I think studies have even proven that those little sort of borderline stranger interactions are deeply fulfilling to one's humanity. So I hope you got something from this, and I can tell you that I've, you know, like, the comments are cool, and I appreciate them. So I suppose I should stop yammering. We'll have another episode of one of our programs coming very soon here on Janky AF, and until then, Janky-thanky.